Welcome to Legacy and Leadership. I'm David McKee. Join me as we talk to leaders in their field regarding their thoughts on leaving a legacy and impact in their families and in their community. I am super excited to have Mrs. Rebecca Byrne join us today. Rebecca and her husband, Bradley Byrne, enjoy their involvement in the community, but most of all, their time with their 4 children and 3 grandchildren. So welcome, Rebecca Byrne. We appreciate that. So I want to just remind our audience that Rebecca's husband, Bradley, former Congressman Bradley Byrne, was our first guest on Legacy and Leadership. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, please be sure to go back and check it out. He was so gracious with his time, and there were a lot of great leadership content in those episodes. So thank you for that. So, well, great. Well, I'd love to just get to know you a little bit and understand more about your background. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Montgomery.
Okay.
So, but now, I've been here 45 years, and this is home. I've lived here longer than anywhere else. So, this is home for us.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So what was it like growing up in Montgomery for you?
It was a great place to grow up. We actually lived a little bit outside of Montgomery on some property and had some acreage, but we did a lot of things, of course, in the city of Montgomery. Went to school and did church and so forth. Okay. So it was a large family. I was one of 6. Great place to grow up. We had a lot of great times there. Like I said, we are a large family, and we were sort of a center, a hub for other people in our family to come to. So it was a good community, a strong community, but we love it here now too, so sure. I couldn't be happier. Sure.
Did you play any sports, or were you involved in the arts growing up or anything?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We had the opportunity to play a lot of team sports growing up. Basketball, volleyball, it's some other sports as well, but you wouldn't think I'd be a great volleyball player because I'm awfully short, but there's a place for everybody, and so I was a good setter-upper. But loved that. It was a great way to get involved with teams, and really learned a lot in those efforts, which is why it seems so important that we expose others to have those opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sports dramatically changed my life for the better as well, and that team concept and getting to work with people. When was perhaps the first time, if you can think back, that you thought of yourself as a leader?
I don't think there was ever one aha moment that I said, oh, wow, now I'm a leader. I think that I was given opportunities, put in positions that allowed me to get into a leadership role. Actually, in my youth, particularly when I was in school, there were great opportunities for me to get involved, like student government was a great training ground. Yep. Is when you learned how to work with other people.
Right.
And also it became clear to me that in those opportunities, even civic community activities that we got involved with, that it was a lot more fun to be a part of a team, a group of people.
Sure.
A lot more engaging, interesting, inspiring if you're around other people who had the same sense of purpose. And so I found that because I enjoyed it so much that I began to choose to be a leader. Not because that I was a better person than anyone else to be in that role, but because I wanted to be a part of something bigger than I could be by myself.
That's great.
And that's where that led me to stay in that role and continue to work with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So shared purpose is what I heard you say was the driving factor there. So how over the years have you tried to create in your various leadership roles that shared purpose that you mentioned that was so important early on?
I think it's absolutely essential to be successful in that you surround yourself with other good people. And I've made it a conscientious effort to get people who are smarter, more creative, just people that have that same sense of, I'm here for another reason. I'm here to do something good, no matter what the role is, but I'm going to give it my best. They have the right stuff. And I've learned that if you do that, it's so much better than if you try to do it on your own. In fact, you really can't do it on your own. So I have found that I have a great team. I would not be successful in where we are today were it not for those individual people that have been a part of this organization. I read a book years ago, early on in starting my career, that From Good to Great. I'm dating myself a little bit, David, but I read that book. It was Jim Collins was the author on that, in which he said that you've got to get the right people on the bus. Now, I'd always heard that expression, but after I read the book, I realized it was a lot more strategic than that. It was not only do you need to get the right people on the bus, you need to get the right people on the right seat of the bus.
Love it.
And if the person who's on the seat is the wrong person, then you need to remove that person so that you have a very cohesive group of people that are like-minded and are doing it for other reasons besides whether it's for incentive or compensation or whatever.
Right.
And if you get the right people around you, that no matter what direction you go in, no matter what your vision, you're going to be successful. Because if down the road, maybe the direction changes, you're around people who can adapt, who are comfortable with that, who still want to be a part of something also bigger than they can be by themselves, and you're successful. And I've found that to be absolutely true. I think looking back even more recently, I thought, wow, this is the best that I've felt about a group of people that I'm working with, both within my team, my board of directors, the people in the community, that it really does work. That if you surround yourself with other people that want to accomplish something, you can be far more successful than you can be on your own.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Was there ever a moment when you made that shift to, as you put it, to add people that are more intelligent or more creative than you to your team? Was there ever that moment of doubt of, oh, they may push me out, or I'm going to be classified an imposter, right? Because I have smarter or more creative or more skilled people around me. Was there ever a moment of doubt for you as a leader before you started doing that?
Not really. I don't think so. Honestly, I think if you get the right people, they're not motivated to do that necessarily.
Right.
I think what has been very important for me to remember is that if you do get the right people, you need to empower them. And so I gave them, I'm very intentional about making sure that I want them to run with it. I want them to be in charge. They have certain skills, certain talents, and if you put them on the right seat, they can lean into those skills and those talents, and they become more successful too because of the team members around them. And they recognize that that team is important.
Right.
So I've never really felt worried. I will say this, I feel assured that the day that I'm not here, it'll be great. It will be fine. And that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I feel great about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you always want to leave something better than when you came. And you always want it to be as successful, even more successful when you leave, because that means you've set it up well.
Yeah.
So I'm not paranoid. I'm not intimidated.
Sure.
I want to be supportive, and I want people to know that it's their job, and empower them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that word, empower. A lot of leaders are scared to do that because when you truly empower those around you, you lose control, right? You lose control of the entire process, and I've said many times before to those closest to me that I'm a recovering control addict, right? Recovering control freak. So what was that? Was that very natural and easy for you to empower those around you, or was it something that you had to dip your toe in the water and take it step by step?
A little bit of both. I mean, and honestly, you read something academically and say, yeah, that's what I need to do.
Right.
And you're right, when you're leading something, you also have a sense of responsibility where you should be commanding, right? You should be in charge.
Right.
And so there is a little bit of that tension there between at what point do you let go.
Right.
It's just that I found that delegating was a part of being a good leader.
Absolutely.
And that if I didn't delegate, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the energy.
Right.
I could not be as successful. in that if the people around me also wanted to be a part of the team, they also were doing it for the right reason. So it became even more evident that it was the right thing to do, and that I needed to be assured that I was in a good place, that I served a purpose, and that as time went on, that it would all work out. And I will say now, because I'm at the end of my career, or nearing the end, and that I've now had many years of experience under me, that this is it's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
It is really nice. I feel good about it. I feel very positive about it.
Right.
And I like having people around me that I feel like they're colleagues. I'm not giving them orders. I might give them direction. We'll share a vision and we'll discuss it.
Right.
But they can take it down a path that makes it better.
Yeah.
I have never been more keenly aware that if a situation comes up, say in a committee, we have committees here.
Right.
And oftentimes you may think, oh, I know the clear answer. This is the way it should be done to get from point A to point B. This is the most expeditious way, it's the fastest way we can do it, most efficient. This is what needs to happen.
Sure.
But you have groups in place, committees in place, and you go through that process. There's never been a time that I didn't walk out after having gone through that process that I did not realize and appreciate that the end result was far better than what I thought when I walked in.
Wow. Wow. And it was from that delegation, from that collaboration, and from having those highly intelligent and skilled people around you.
They bring input that many things that I didn't think about, or paths to take that I didn't think about, creative things, ways to approach it. I mean, just yesterday I had someone here on the team that came to me and said, well, she and another person have been thinking about ways that we could make something really special. And I'd given them some ideas before, and they said, can we come back to you next week when we get together? I said, well, you want to meet now? No, we're not quite ready. We're going to wait. Next week we've got some things. I said, I'm excited about it. I said, this is great. This is exactly what I think that book intended to happen. That it really is coming to fruition. I think there's truth in that.
Right. Right.
So anyway, it's a great place to be.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. You mentioned the word delegate, right? And that is so important as a leader. How do you define from a higher view what to delegate and what to hold on to as a leader?
That's a really great question. There's a balance there. I think everyone on my team is much younger, so I do know that what I can bring to the table is more experience, and even in some situations, more knowledge about the fabric of the community, to where I can provide some information, some knowledge, some things that would help them before moving forward in their own direction. And I think that's my role. I do think it's very important because I want to go ahead and make things smoother for them. I mean, I always appreciated when I had mentors that I couldn't be in the place I am now without having that mentorship. So I think that's key. That's very much a part of being a good leader, is being a mentor. But yet also realizing when it's helpful to provide some support, some information to make them more successful. There's nothing that pleases me more that something's better than it could possibly be if I were trying to do it by myself. And there's never been a situation where that hasn't been the result.
So if I could summarize what you said, and please step in and correct me if I'm wrong, you start on the process of delegation by really taking a look in the mirror and understanding what your strengths are and what you bring to the table first and foremost. And then you try to delegate in a way that it brings out your strengths, right, while still empowering those around you. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, but it also pulls out the strengths of others. And that's what's very important. That's what makes it successful, is because you're counting on the strengths of the other individuals to come out, to grow, and
Yep.
my role is to nurture that. And everyone on our team has got, they're maybe a lead on an effort, and they have certain skills and talents and things that they can bring to the table, but they work with others, and there's a chemistry that comes about being a part of a team
Yep.
that helps crystallize
Right.
efforts.
Yep.
And so, I think we all recognize that we can't do things by ourselves. And in this particular work that we do with regard to philanthropy and encouraging people to be donors, to give back, there isn't anything that we don't do that we all don't touch here in this office. We're all playing some role. Some person may take the lead, others may assist.
Sure.
Some others may step back for that particular occasion, but another particular occasion they're taking the lead and the others step forward. And there's always a point that we're all touching it somehow. So
Love
all
it.
the successes that we have are a result of the full team effort.
A true team effort.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You mentioned one of your roles as a leader is to nurture others' strengths. Can you maybe mention some ways that you very practically try to do that?
I think having very frank conversations, both individually and collective.
Yep.
Collectively, we meet once a week
Okay.
and talk about what we've done in the past, what we want to do in the coming days and months and years. We have a strategic plan in place.
Right.
We talk about how we're going to make that happen.
Sure.
What we need to do, both individually and working with others, to make sure that we're accomplishing what's been set forth. I mean, our board comes up with a strategic plan.
Great.
They give it to us, and then it's incumbent upon us to make it happen. And we determine how we're going to make it happen by sitting around and saying, okay, what can we do to ensure that happens?
Right.
So one of the most important things that I can do is to listen.
Love that. I love
So
that.
listening is extremely critical. I've got to make sure that I do not want to be the only one talking. I want to hear what others have to say. I want to hear what they say and then say, oh, well, this is maybe how we can make it better. But a big part of, I think, of a good leader is listening to others.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. One of the things you mentioned earlier in the conversation is having the right people in the right seat. That can be difficult as a leader. How have you managed that over the years and currently?
It's been a slow process. Sometimes I look back and think, well, maybe when I first came, but you don't know. You think, oh, should I have ripped the Band-Aid off? And say, okay, let's start with a clean slate, and we're going to get 10 people. We're going to do this great. We're going to get 10 people together. I didn't do that, and I don't think that's the best way to do it anyway, because it's a process, and you grow as an organization, you grow as a team, you gradually add more people, and there's, you add one more person, it changes the chemistry.
Right.
So you have to ensure that the chemistry that you have is still positive when you make those changes, and so it takes some time.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be patient, and that's a very difficult thing to be. I know for me, it's like I want it to happen.
Sure.
I want it to be successful quickly, but it does take time, and I think it's important that you allow that time to get the right mix, the right team, the right people working together. And then it becomes, you get more efficient, and then you're more effective. So
that's great.
It's a process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did that patience as a leader develop over time, or was it something that you had from an early age?
I think it developed over time. I would think, earlier and more naively, I thought, oh, you just need to do this.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. You just need to do this. You need to do it. This will make it better. I know that if I have this in place, it'll be better. But I have learned, and it's proven to be true, that if you're a little more slower in that process, you push when you need to, but you need to allow things to come to pass, to bubble, to come together, and be a stronger team. It just takes that.
Hey, if you like this episode, please stop right now and share it with a friend so they too can benefit from it. Please join us in a couple of weeks as we drop the second part of this episode. I promise you won't want to miss it.